everybody? Welcome back to Inside the Musical Mind. I'd like to welcome back to the channel the band Dåzr. Guys, how are you?
We're good. How's it going?
Good.
Good, good. For those of you who don't know, I want to point everybody out. We've got Grant on guitar. I'm probably not pointing anywhere to where you're actually on the screen, but Grant Hendricks on guitar, your brother Austin Hendricks on lead vocals, Shranko on bass, and new to our channel, Shay O'Brien on drums. Shay, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? Glad to
Good.
be.
Well, guys, you got so much going on. We talked just about exactly a year ago. Um, but of course, the new album's coming out. What can you tell us about it? Because it's big news.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety on it. It's going to be the EP plus 5 new songs.
Okay.
So we're kind of doing it that way because kind of standard way people do albums today is they release 10 songs as a single and then bundle up at the end of the year. And we never liked that because it's like, I mean, especially with rock and roll albums is so like, quintessential. It's so deep rooted in the history of it that we didn't want to be one of those bands that just does a ton of singles all the time.
Right.
And, yeah, so it's gonna be 5 new songs. There's some heavier stuff, some lighter stuff, all within those, 5 new songs. So we're excited. It's gonna be
Awesome.
bad. Yeah, it's sick.
Awesome. Yeah. And that makes sense because you want to release the singles as time goes on, but it's definitely more appealing as an artist to be like, here's an album.
Yeah.
I know, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, what's the title of the album?
So it's called Do or Die.
Do or Die. Okay. I thought I'd seen some other title somewhere floating the internet, but it didn't look official.
Yeah, well, I get have we put I don't think we put out like an official announcement. That's the
Yeah, I
name
don't
of
think
it. We've
so.
mentioned it on some other interviews we've done and podcasts and whatnot. But we were getting mock-ups done for the actual album and pre-sale and all that done this week. So then, at that point we're gonna, make the official announcement of the title.
Gotcha. I gotta say the last video to hit, that's gotta be so satisfying just to see that one still shot where Grant, you're in the middle with the flames behind you holding the guitar. That's got to be a dream come true. Just seeing that, all of you guys, just seeing that shot.
Yeah,
That's
that
got to
was
be like that's what we pictured in our heads.
yeah, that was the one where whenever we finished it, we were going back through the footage trying to find the thumbnail for the video, and Shrenko was like, "Hey, that's it. That's
That
got to
is
be
it.
the thumbnail." And I was
Totally.
like, "Yeah." So none of us had any objection.
No.
No, you're right, Shrenko. That is the shot. Absolutely, yeah. And there's a lot of good shots. Like Shrenko, there's a thing where they close in you and just got like a slow motion where it's got your low E vibrating.
Yeah,
There's a lot of cool shots in that whole thing. A lot of good shots of you, Shay, and playing. So, and I saw them making a video. I saw you miss the sticks a few times.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Quite a few times, actually.
take 400.
Right. What does they say? You like take 478 or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I commented on your channel. That is the kind of thing, if you guys have a 20-year career, your fans will be so happy for to have like behind the scenes making of, especially the early days stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff that we didn't. I mean, during the EP and all that, and the video for "Can't Take It Anymore," that's been our biggest video so far. I think that one's almost at 430 something thousand now, and that we got behind the scenes pictures and stuff, but we do it all ourselves. So like the videos we're doing all ourselves. We hire out a very skilled photographer named Justin. He does videographer. Yeah. It is an amazing job, but as far as the planning of the videos, the locations, the setup, like that's all us. So we're always so busy actually doing the thing that it's so hard for us to a lot of times get like behind the scenes stuff. And in the studio the same way. I mean, a lot of the of the EP and the record, Stranko and I and all of us are sitting there behind the board, doing some mixing and doing stuff. So, it's not really like we're just ever really just sitting around. So a lot of times we're just so involved that we kind of, had to take a step back on this video. And we were like, hey, let's start really, because I mean, the way I look at it is if I could see that type of footage of Guns N' Roses before they made it, when they were playing the whiskey and all that, I mean,
Right.
that would be awesome to see. But, there obviously isn't any, but so we started focusing on that more.
Totally. I mean, an older guy like me, if there was in studio footage of Van Halen
Yeah.
record, I would love that.
Yeah. And the thing
So
is, as time goes on, it doesn't even matter how good the quality is on that kind of stuff because you look at those old. There are some behind the scenes type stuff of Van Halen, and it's like the worst quality thing you've ever
absolutely.
seen. But it's the coolest that's the because you can just see that they're real guys. They're hanging out. They're doing whatever,
Well,
which
back
is
then it was a roadie that was a 6 pack deep with a Super 8 camera.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it was terrible quality. The Now I was going to ask you, since it's including the songs from the EP, was it a was it an issue trying to get sonically uniform with the newer tracks from stuff you recorded earlier?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think we learned a lot from the EP. Even just recording. And because I mean, you've listened to our stuff. We don't do super overproduced, a lot of stuff. So my guitar tone is pretty much the exact same. Shrinko played the exact same amp that he played on the last record or
Mm.
the EP. I did the exact same thing. I know I changed some mics and a couple speakers, but it's not gonna drastically change the sonic qualities. Same
You have a
things.
little more gain on another lie than you did from.
No, I got a lot of people asking me that because I still used my Shure SL68, just
Uh-huh.
the 100-watt amp, and I don't know what happened on that song, but I mean I had it, dimed, and I think was that the last song? What was the second to last, or was that the first song we did?
That was like the last
It
one.
was like, yeah, it was one of the last ones, I think,
Yeah.
except for the other one.
Interesting one.
But yeah, it was in the studio like just cooking for like 8 days,
Right.
and I just had it full blast, and yeah, because even whenever I listened back, I was like, that sounds like a lot gainier than like
Right.
I was hitting those pinch harmonics that some Zach Wild-esque harmonics that
Yeah.
normally don't really kind of jump out on a plexi, and I don't know, it just happened to work, and at the end of the solo, a really big bend and note that I do that I just hit that I held out until it
Mhm.
faded. I remember looking at the guys through the recording glass, and they're sitting there back there behind the console because I that was what I was trying to get that note to come out, but it kept dying out because I don't play a Soldano or a super
Right.
gainy amp. And then so for some reason that one note it just held. I mean, it held for longer than it did in the song. I looked at the guys, I was like, "This is the one." This is
Yeah.
it.
The,
Yeah,
Tube Gremlins.
yeah,
Sometimes you can leave it the exact same settings, and the next day you're like, that's not what it sounded like yesterday. But
yeah, yeah, for sure.
was it a more streamlined process this time around with the newer stuff? Like you knew like what not to, or this was a waste of time the first time, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, really, even the first time we didn't do a lot of like experimenting in the studio. And a
Okay.
lot of that is just due to, I mean, obviously we're doing it on our own budget. We can't spend 6 weeks in there trying to catch the perfect snare sound, you know. But we kind of all knew what we wanted to do going in. And a lot of it, at least on the guitar end, on my end, I did a lot of kind of testing with the gear I have here. And I've got a bunch of gear and recording stuff that I can, do tests with. So for guitar, I could, test that kind of stuff. But this was Shay's first time recording, like in a studio. And so the engineer there, Jay, helped walk him through everything, and it was definitely a streamlined process for sure.
So Shay, was it your first time hearing yourself back with like reverb and stuff and compression?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
First time for everything. I was sort of just back there doing my thing,
Right.
and it was helping me out and the guys, and it was a good time.
It sounds good though, doesn't it? A
Yeah,
little studio mojo on there. You're like, oh wait, I sound better than I thought. Yeah.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, totally. It's fun. Shay, I'll ask you because I asked the other guys last year, who were your drum influences or musical influences? I know last year, Grant was going on and on about Justin Bieber and stuff, but
Yeah, that checks out.
yeah.
Musically, it's really hard to pick because I listen to everything from 60s until like nowadays, like modern music. So musically, I'm not sure if I could pick certain influences, but as drummers, I've always said like people that are very emotional drummers,
Mhm.
wild behind the kit, Tommy Aldridge, Bill Ward, Keith Moon, and Tommy Lee. Those are like four guys that I would say are like influences of mine.
Tommy Aldridge, you'd never know he's 70 something. I mean, he's still just, you look at a video from 6 months ago and he's just
Oh,
flailing.
he's turning it up. I watch Drumeo all the time, and there's so
Great
many,
channel.
yeah, great channel. There's so many videos on there of him, covering White Snake or doing a riff challenge
Right.
or whatever it may be, and he's still back there tearing it up.
Tearing
And
it up.
yeah, he's 70 years old. It's insane.
The ones where they have them play a song without a drum track and they just have to figure out a drum part for it. That's pretty cool.
It is. Yeah, I think he did his in like 6 minutes too. It was crazy.
Yeah, he's a beast.
What about for now that the show's done, you guys have been playing, and I know you advertised, you were talking about the whiskey and stuff. Have you already played out there, or is that in the works, or?
Yeah, we did. We played out there New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Uh, and it was cool to go out there and see it and, be where, our idols and people we looked up to have played. I will tell you, whenever we got out there, it was different than I expected. Um, like inside the whiskey, just like the layout and stuff. I thought it was kind of like shotgun style, just, straight on. But I don't know. It was really cool to be there and see the green rooms and everything and just, be in the same essence of other people that we look up to.
Yeah, we were up there with LA Guns, and so we were opening for
Okay.
them up there, and it was cool. It was all, but yeah, like you said, because I didn't know that there's an upstairs at the whiskey because
Yeah.
all the pictures you see from back in the day, it's always it's in the crowd and you see like kind of the corner, you see like bits of the stage, but Shranko and I walked in, we both like were like because for load in, he and I walked in, and we were like, this is not what I thought it looked like.
Huh. Gotcha. Now, what kind of shows do you guys have lined up next?
Yeah, so we just got off the road with Lynch Mob for the and Trickster for
I
the
saw it.
3 date mini tour, which was awesome. New York was great. We're working on planning shows after the album comes out. We got one this Saturday in Greensboro, North Carolina, uh,
Hmm.
and we're playing with a band called Pageant there. They're great guys, but we're working on planning some shows around the album coming out, and we'd like to get back up to New York that way, just because we had a lot of fun up there.
Right.
Uh, and the crowds were great. It's just a totally different audience than what we normally get in the South. But we're gonna try to plan our own tour on the way up there and back after the album comes out.
Yeah, mention to Tammy if you guys hit through Philadelphia area, let me know. I'll come
Yeah,
out to a show.
sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's great news. Now, what is it? Am I missing it? Do you have an actual album release date yet?
So we kind of internally have one. We haven't announced one yet, just because we haven't got all the ducks in the row on that end
Sure.
yet. I don't want to announce it and then something happen and it come out 2 weeks later or
Right.
whatever. So,
It's
but
April 15th. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Well, we should be having one within the next, I'd say, week.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah. And yeah, you definitely don't want to put it out there and be like, oh, this is snafu. We don't have it. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially with an album because there's so much more that goes into it than a single. You got 10 songs you gotta get uploaded and everything in the right order and the album cover and all that. It's a lot more involved than, just one single. So making sure we
Sure.
do it all by the book.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of it. And it's been so good so far. Now, I thought, do you have another video coming soon,
So
imminently?
yeah, so we'll have the day the album comes out, we'll have a new music video that drops the day the album comes out, and then we're gonna have subsequent ones after that.
Gotcha. Very cool. Are you guys excited?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely ready
Yeah.
to get it out. Prediction.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is so cool. And how was it? Was it once now you guys are starting to spread around the country some and get dates? Is it nerve-wracking? Not the audience, but like opening for George Lynch.
No,
Opening.
yeah, no, not really for us because I mean the I'll give you an example. Whenever we played we opened for Zozo, the Led Zeppelin tribute.
Hmm.
Those are great guys, by the way. They're awesome guys. But we opened for them at the Tabernacle in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's a 2,600 seated theater.
Mhm.
We felt more at home there than any other show we've ever played. Whenever we stepped in front of that many people, Austin and I were talking after the show, and I was like, this is what we should be doing every damn night. And
Right.
so whenever we got to get on the road with George and actually, be out on the road and go, play in front of these bigger audiences, it was, it was exactly what we've been, wanting and feel like we're supposed to be doing. So it wasn't unnatural. Nobody was nervous. We were all super excited just to get up there and, kick ass.
That's good. Yeah, you have the confidence and you like we belong on this in this kind of
Yeah. And I think that just comes from because I mean we started, because I mean a lot of people today they'll blow up on social media and they've never played a gig in their life, and then their first gig is in a 3,000 seated theater, and it's like
good point.
But with us, I mean, we started playing in bars with literal piss on the floor. Like it's literally how we started. We really slugged it out like the people we look up to did, and so it's just kind of like a natural progression for us now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's cool. Be sure to keep us up to date on the live shows. I'll be staying tuned. I'll be sure to plaster my media once the album hits or in the new videos because,
Yeah.
like I said, you guys are strong. I contacted you guys when I first heard "Hold the Line," I think, because like these guys are the real deal, and I want to start interviewing them and document this from the get go because I
Thank
think
you.
you guys have got the stuff.
Thank you, man.
No problem. Um, anything else I'm missing? What do we? Did I
Well,
forget anything?
What do you think, Megan?
Just be on the lookout for new music, new merch, show dates, and all the goodies that come with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you always want to enter the interview in the awkward pause.
Yeah. Yeah, we got so many irons in the fire and so much stuff coming up that we're just excited to, be able to tell people stuff and actually get it out and get stuff, flowing. So we're excited.